بالحديث الله المستعان. So
عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه كان يقول اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى.
رواه مسلم. Very good, very good. أحسن. كان يقول. Yeah, that's what he said, right? كان يقول.
عن ابن مسعود
عن
هذا احنا كبيرين في السن.
Look, أخي. This is what the Sheikh used to make us do. So now I'm happy to watch other people suffer. And you know, I had to suffer for all those years, so now you do it.
عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه كان يقول
عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم
أنه كان يقول اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى.
رواه
مسلم.
Yes. Say. إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. You got the royal Muslim part right.
عن النبي رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقول اللهم إني أسألك العفو والتقى والعفاف والغنى.
Again?
اللهم إني أسألك العفو.
No.
اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والعفو والتقى والغنى.
No, and اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. No. أنا ما أعرف الكلام. الله المستعان. أصحاب الجدار.
عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان يقول اللهم اني اسالك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى.
صاحبك.
عن ابن مسعود رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه كان يقول اللهم إني أسألك التقى والهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. رواه مسلم.
Very good. Come on, man. أنت ما عرفت هذا الآن. ها. Gotta stop eating them burritos, man. Yeah.
You wanted to joke
Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Similar to the hearts of birds. This is a short hadith, so we'll keep it brief tonight, inshallah. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال يدخل الجنة أقوام أفئدتهم مثل أفئدة الطير. This hadith is also رواه Muslim. So it's reported on the authority of Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه, which the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, يدخل الجنة. So the people, you know, أقوام. So there will be different groups of people that will enter into Jannah. أفئدتهم. Afida means what? And what's the singular form of this word? Fu'ad. And what did Zuhair, the poet from Jahiliyyah, say about the heart of a young person? He said, الفؤاد الفتى نصف ونصف لسانه وما يبقى بعد ذلك إلى لحم ودم من ذلك إلى لحم ودم. So he said, فؤاد الفتى والنصف. So what goes on in your heart is half of your life. It either makes you, breaks you, destroys you, what goes on is because all the actions start with what? The heart. What? What's the other half? Lisan. So the tongue is the other half. So whatever goes on in his heart, you know, even if he has good intentions, he can destroy everything with what he says with his tongue. He said, whatever, nothing remains after that for a person except for what? Well, meat and bones. Just meat and bones. Everything, all of your actions, it goes back. And this is from Zuhair. He's a poet from Jahiliyyah. But this is a poem that the ulama, they quote a lot because of this truthful statement. And if you know, he had a son his son, he went to the Sahaba and actually wrote a poem praising the Prophet ﷺ, and they became Muslims. Zuhair also became Muslim. So yes, he's a poet from Jahiliyyah, but he entered into Islam, but he never met the Prophet ﷺ. So whenever you have a person who became Muslim in the time of the Prophet, but he didn't meet the Prophet, because what is the condition for the suhbah, for the person to become considered a Sahabi?
You have to meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But if you don't meet him, you become, they say tabi'i.
Alright, but like how many times do you have to meet him?
Once.
What if you left Islam after you met him? Okay, so what if the person left Islam and returned to Islam and died on Islam? He's still considered Sahaba. As long as he made Tawbah and died on Islam, even as long as he met the Prophet ﷺ one time, he's considered Sahaba. So what is the person now who became Muslim in the lifetime of the Prophet, but he didn't meet the Prophet ﷺ? Like Zuhair, like Abu Aswad al-Du'ali, and quite a few individuals. What do we call this person?
We call him tabi'i.
No, but there's a specific name for them. Because the tabi'i, they came, a lot of them were born, or they were like little children in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, or they were born later after his death. But what about the person he's born? He became Muslim. Why the Prophet ﷺ was in Medina, but he just was never able to make it. Like you have people in Yemen, they became Muslim, but they're in Yemen. They never went to the Prophet. They stayed in Yemen, but they were Muslim. Yeah, so what do we call this person? Nobody. It's called a mukhadram. 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 Yeah, this is mukhadram is the person, he's a tabi'i. He has the hukm for being from the tabi'in, but he's a tabi'i mukhadram. Mukhadram means that he became Muslim at the time that he reached the age of maturity, puberty, and the time of the Prophet, but he never met the Prophet. Say tabi'i. So Zuhair was one of those individuals. His son, also one of those individuals that made the poem. Alright, so he said, أَفْئِرَتُهُمْ مِثْلُ أَفْئِرَةِ الطَّيْرِ. So that their hearts, they entered, these people that were going to the Jannah, and their hearts are like the hearts of birds. What does this mean? It's two statements from the ulama. What do you think?
Can you repeat it?
يدخل الجنة أقوام أفئرتهم, like our hearts, قلوبهم أفئرتهم مثل أفئرة الطير.
They fly in the paradise.
No, because it's only the comparison of the hearts.
Clean with no لا حسد ولا غل ولا كره ولا بغض ولا حقد.
It means white birds.
Alright, what do you say?
I said their heart is clear, light.
For light, yes.
I agree. Or it can mean that they can do as they please in Jannah.
Alright, so the two statements from the ulama is one, that their hearts are very, very weak and very humble, and they show humility. That they're not, what do we talk about? What? هذا دار what? تلك الدار الآخرة نجعلها للذين لا يريدون علوا في الأرض ولا فسادا.
I think it means the stability of the hearts in the paradise.
No. They're going to go into the Jannah, but this is the reason, because of their hearts, because they have these like this riqqa fi qulubihim. It's like softness and this weakness in their hearts. So they don't have this arrogance. So they have like this type of tawala. And we know, مَا تَوَاضَعَ أَحْدٌ لِلَّهِ إِلَّا إِلَّا رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ. That nobody ever, stays humble, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise him. Because this is the opposite of the attitude of the people nowadays. What's the attitude of the people nowadays? They look at tawala as being what? As being weakness. Like if you try to be humble with a person, they feel like
right, like they on top or something because you being too cool with them, huh?
That's.
I hate that though. All because I'm cool with you, I mean,
Yeah. People
Like
take your kindness for your weakness.
Right, like come on now, you know, man, you don't want to see when I'm angry, you know?
Yeah, like your brother, and midgets, I'm midgets. This is the,
No, bro, no, my bad, stop.
we have the long explanation. The Facebook world and the YouTube world will never understand the midget joke. So there's only 3 people. Oh, okay, actually 4. He's got the.
You got your own thing.
Yeah.
You got your own group.
This was a iftar joke, you know. So for the people that came late for iftar, I'm sorry, man. You got missed out on the midget thing. But anyway, so.
Well, we need to be with you guys, same group. We wanna join you guys. We wanna join the group.
Allahu Akbar.
Well, what's up now?
Allahu Akbar.
You know. All right, so basically, it's what they're going in with like humble, low hearts because, like I said, the majority of the people nowadays they look at, you know, if you're being humble to the person, they look at and they try to take you as being as weak. So a lot of the people they don't like to show that humility anymore because they don't want to be taken advantage of. So they want to show this aggressive front, and we know that this is not, you know, how we should behave. So these individuals, they don't feel like they have anything to prove to anybody. So they go into the Jannah and they have this heart. They don't want, like, all they will have aside. They're not seeking any highness and lofty place in this dunya, and they're not seeking any corruption in the land. And they're not trying to be better than anybody. If they're trying to be better than anybody else, what are they trying to be better in? Yeah, I mean, they're trying to be better in taqwa and righteous actions. You know, they're not trying to be more aggressive and try to prove something every single day. So that's one call of the ulama. The other call of the ulama, the other statement of the ulama is what? Is that what is the characteristic? And this is the very next hadith, so I don't want to mention the hadith now because we're going to take this tomorrow, inshallah. But the characteristic that the hadith of Umar mentioned that what? The birds in their hearts, they have a strong sense of tawakkul, of putting their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they leave out, they don't trust, they don't leave out trusting anybody or anything but Allah.
They have some trust.
Yeah, all their provisions that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And of course we know that this is the sign of the believers. It's a sign of the Sahaba. And even in times of danger and fear and every time. Oh, that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about it. He said, الَّذِينَ قَالَ لَهُمُ النَّاسِ إِنَّ النَّاسَ قَدْ جَمَعُوا لَكُمْ فَاخْشَوْهُمْ. All the people that are coming together to kill them. You got, فَاخْشَوْهُمْ, because these people, they had all the weaponry and everything, and, they're all these tribes, they all halif, they had this halif and they're coming together to fight them. فَاخْشَوْهُمْ. And what happened? Did they get scared? Did they back down? Said, فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا فَقَالُوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. All of the Muslims. This is just, the Muslims have been,
ولكن العالم كله يعني اجتمع عليه وهم ما زالوا يقولوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. أنا قصدي أنهم يجسدون هذا الكاركتر، هذه الشخصية.
And this was reported on the authority of Ibn Abbas, where he said, what? حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. كلمة قالها إبراهيم. What? When did Ibrahim say this? When he was thrown into the fire. He said, حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. And here the Prophet ﷺ and his companions, he said this when the people said, that the people have gathered against you, فَخْشَوْهُمْ فَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا. So this ayah also shows another thing. One is their tawakkul, and number two, what? That Iman was. The Iman yazid or yanqus. That Iman is not that. So Iman, it goes up with what? With obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it goes down with disobedience.
Sheikh, isn't it true that it changes 40 times a day?
Allah. It changes 40 times, maybe, who knows? I don't know anything authentic that says about the number of times that it's going to change in a day. But the Iman goes up and it goes down, Also we see, like, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى الْحَيِّ الَّذِي لَا يَمُوتُ. So we put our trust in people, we try to trust in people, but people are alive, people die. What happens now? You put your trust in somebody for something and then that person dies. So what? Put your trust in the one who's alive. And what? It never dies. وَمَنْ يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. what does hasbuhu mean? Yeah, he's kafi. You know, so if you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's sufficient. You'll fulfill all your needs. But you put your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, and this is the sign of the believers. You know, إِذَا تُلِيَتْ عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُهُ what? وَقَالُوا وَأَوْنَوْا I'm messing it up. وعلى ربهم يتوكلون إذا تليت عليهم آياته يعني زادتهم إيمانا والذين إذا ذكر الله وجلت قلوبهم وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. So whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioned, وجلت قلوبهم, and what does that mean? Like their hearts quake at the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وإذا تليت عليهم آياته زادتهم إيمانا. And if these verses and these ayat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the Quran are recited to them, then what? It increases them in iman, increases them in belief, and increases them in thabat. وعلى ربهم يتوكلون, and then they put their trust fully in their Lord. So this is the stronger opinion about the meaning of the hadith, that the people that go into the Jannah, they go in with the afidat al-tayyib. That means that they're what? That their hearts are like mutawakkil ala Allah, that they put their trust always in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not taking away anything from the person also who is mutawalli, because that meaning is also correct.
ربما يدخلون الجنة وهم بأجنحة. يدخلون الجنة يعني طيران يدخلونها طائرين.
The people that are going to be, they're going to be in the جوف الطيور الخضر. Those are the shuhada. Those are the people that died in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But they're not going to go into Jannah. They're flying around in Jannah. Until they take their place in Jannah. And then yeah. So alhamdulillah. Any questions about that? Nothing.
What you say about Jannah?
It's a beautiful place.
Oh yeah.